I mean, obviously, it's pretty much based on money, the system here.
It is.
Yeah.
The system is completely based on money.
Yeah.
The studio system.
Yeah.
To a degree, I think the way I hook into the system is based on money.
Hollywood operates like a well-oiled machine, but the grease keeping it running isn't just creativity or talent, it's money. Everything, from the greenlighting of a film to the decisions made on casting, revolves around financial stakes. To be a part of this world, it's important to understand that this is not about fairness or passion, it's about profit. That realization can feel disheartening, especially for newcomers who arrive bright-eyed and full of dreams. But those who stick around long enough understand that while you can't change the system, you can learn to work with it. Understanding the system is like learning a new language. It's frustrating at first, but over time you get it. This is not to say that money is inherently bad. It's just the lens through which the industry operates. Once that clicks, you start to see how decisions are made and how you can position yourself to thrive within this framework.
Do you understand it?
The social contract?
Yeah.
I think I do.
Yeah. What is it for you?
The social contract. You can't get mad.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get mad. You can't let it get you, because you have to make a deal with everyone else.
One of the hardest lessons in Hollywood isn't about mastering your craft, it's about mastering the art of letting go. There's this unspoken agreement, often referred to as the social contract, that everyone is playing by. The essence of it: you will get hurt. People you trust, people you've gone out of your way to help, might disappoint you or even betray you. That's just the nature of the game. It's not personal, it's the system.
It's almost unspoken that you are going to be fucked over at some point by people who you may have done something nice for. And it may happen that by circumstance, or even very purposefully, that you fuck someone over. But that shouldn't get in the way of you being able to sit down and have fun with them.
The trap lies in holding on to anger or resentment. Carrying grudges in Hollywood is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. The real strength comes from accepting that sometimes people will act selfishly or opportunistically. That doesn't make them evil, it just makes them human. And just as you'll be let down, there might come a time when you unintentionally let someone else down. Recognizing this dynamic can make it easier to move forward without bitterness.
Am I on the right track? You can't build a resentment about it. You have to still try and love those people.
Yeah.
Because that's the way they're thinking.
Because it ain't personal.
No, it's not personal. They don't really mean to hurt you.
No.
Not really. I don't quite understand. Well, I mean, there's a lot of motivations for why it happens. Yes, many.
I mean, money will make you do stuff as well, won't it? I mean,
Yes.
one, them, us,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. Well,
The irony is that these same people who might have hurt you can also be the ones you're sharing a laugh with at an industry event. It's strange, but in Hollywood, relationships are fluid. You have to learn to compartmentalize, deal with the hurt, but not let it ruin the connections that matter. After all, survival here isn't about avoiding scars. It's about learning to live with them.
Many millions riding on a decision. It's hard to be philosophical.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very hard. Very hard to be, you have to choose what level of integrity you're coming in at. And
Okay.
Integrity is a word that gets thrown around a lot in this industry, but staying true to your principles isn't always easy when the stakes are this high. Imagine being in a room where a single decision could mean the difference between millions gained or lost. In those moments, morality and idealism often take a back seat to pragmatism. It's not that people lack integrity, it's that the pressures they face are overwhelming.
And I've often felt it. I've sat there and I have felt the knife slipped firmly in between my shoulder blades and tried to have it shoved through the other side through my heart.
This is where adaptability becomes crucial. Some people come into Hollywood with a rigid set of ideals, determined not to bend under pressure. But the reality is, the industry isn't kind to rigidity. Success often depends on your ability to pick your battles. It's about deciding which principles are non-negotiable and which ones you can afford to compromise. Those who survive and thrive are the ones who figure out this balance.
Opinion about women on film, from beginning to end, is very brief. He says, women on film, either naked or dead. Both is better. And it's like, whoa, ooh. The man has got a spiritual malady for a start.
One troubling aspect of Hollywood is the portrayal of women in film. There's this unfortunate trend where female characters are either written as negative influences or are killed off altogether, and sometimes both. It's a bleak observation, but one that points to a larger issue within the industry. This isn't to say that all filmmakers share this mindset, but it's pervasive enough to shape the kinds of stories we see on screen.
I mean, the scary thing is that I think a lot of people think that. Maybe not to that extreme. There are people, well-meaning people.
This pattern speaks volumes about the biases and blind spots in storytelling. While progress has been made in recent years, there's still a long way to go. The hope lies in creators who are willing to challenge these stereotypes and offer more nuanced, complex portrayals of women. Change doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with acknowledging the problem.
Christopher Walken, the first time I ever did a casting session in America,
Yeah.
terrified me.
Me too.
I mean, fucking hell. I came to meet the guy. They said, oh, he's flying in from God knows where.
Yeah, but he didn't need a plane, right? Yeah. It's like
he didn't need a plane. He came in, he was doing all the kind of Scorsese stuff. And I said, have you had a chance to read the script? And he looked at me and he said, did you like my face? And I went, yes. And he said, but that's fucking great.
Few people in Hollywood are as fascinating as Christopher Walken. His reputation precedes him, not just as an actor, but as a larger-than-life personality. Meeting him is an experience in itself. He doesn't just enter a room, he makes an entrance. There's a sense of theatricality to everything he does, from the way he moves to the way he speaks.
No, he came to see me on a rooftop in New York. I said, hey, can I talk to you? And he said, sure. He floated in, sideways, through a crowd of people. He was wearing black. And it was like one of those old vampire movies where they don't walk, but they glide. And he was a dancer, you know, so he has he's very, graceful.
Yeah.
One memorable encounter paints him as almost otherworldly. Picture this: Walken gliding through a crowded room, dressed in black, exuding an aura that's equal parts charm and menace. Conversations with him often veer into the unexpected. In one instance, he began discussing medieval torture methods with such enthusiasm that it left everyone in the room unsettled. It's moments like these that make Walken unforgettable, and for some, a little intimidating.
And then I turned around and it was on top of the Peninsula Hotel. I turned around to avoid his steady gaze at one point, and I was looking at a building with the top of the sixes on it. So there was a huge illuminated 666 in red. And I went from that to that to that, and he started smiling. And I thought, oh no, Chris Walken is the Antichrist, you know?
While he's undeniably talented, working with him isn't for everyone. His intensity can be both inspiring and overwhelming. It's a reminder that Hollywood is full of unique personalities, each bringing their own flavor to the table.
Think Walken, and you'll resent it for a little while, then you have to let it go. Otherwise, you'll eat yourself alive. And I think it takes that kind of cockroach resilience to survive in this town.
Every newcomer to Hollywood starts as an outsider, carrying with them a fresh perspective. This initial naivety can be both an asset and a liability. People are often charmed by the optimism and authenticity that newcomers bring. But as time goes on, the industry begins to shape them. The attitudes, the politics, the unspoken rules, they all seep in, transforming the outsider into an insider.
When I came over here, I was in my mid-20s.
Right.
The first time I really came over here. You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
It's a gradual process, one that often goes unnoticed until it's complete. The industry has a way of wearing people down, forcing them to adapt to its rhythms. Some resist, holding on to their ideals for as long as they can, but eventually, most find themselves playing by Hollywood's rules. It's not about losing yourself, it's about finding a way to survive without sacrificing everything you believe in.
And and I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be, because a whole place can't be like, you know, Weird Town, you know, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them and they tell you don't go into the house on the hill.
Hollywood is not for the faint of heart. It's a place that tests your limits, constantly pushing you to see how much you can take. The pressures are immense, and the stakes are always high, but those who make it are the ones who learn to roll with the punches. They develop a kind of resilience that allows them to keep going, no matter what obstacles they face.
And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like, could it? And then you find out later on the track that you are exactly on track with a lot of this stuff. Not specifically on track, but that you could, that some of your worst nightmares were real at the time, and you think,
this resilience isn't about being tough all the time. It's about learning when to let go. It's about recognizing that not every battle is worth fighting, and that sometimes the best way to win is to walk away. Hollywood has a way of humbling even the most confident individuals, but those who survive are the ones who find a way to turn those humbling moments into opportunities for growth.
Now this is what I mean by actually starting to swim up or downstream with the rest of the salmon. You know, eventually, if you stay here long enough, you'll find yourself doing that. And you have to. There's a way of doing it without doing it.
There's something almost surreal about Hollywood. It's not just a place, it's a mood, an atmosphere, a character in its own right. Stories abound of strange coincidences and eerie encounters that make the city feel like it's alive. One moment you're sitting on a rooftop marveling at the city lights. The next, you're caught in a conversation that feels like it's straight out of a movie.
That takes time. And it takes relaxation.
Not being uncomfortable about...
Not being uncomfortable. Realizing it for what it is.
Projecting.
And understanding what it is. Once you understand it, well, then you're not afraid of it anymore. So you can just walk around it, through it, and then get on with what you tried to get on with in the first place.
This sense of the surreal is part of what makes Hollywood so captivating and so challenging. It's a place where reality and illusion blur, where success and failure can feel like two sides of the same coin. For those who can navigate its twists and turns, it's a land of endless opportunity, but for others, it can be a place of disillusionment.
A place like this can humiliate you. And it can humiliate you, it can be humbling. I mean, it does rip your life to pieces. If you'll let it. And it's always pounding at the walls. It's like these little guys, these little heathens with no soul downstairs with horns on their head with a battering ram trying to like beat your walls in.
At the end of the day, surviving Hollywood comes down to perspective. It's about understanding the game without letting it consume you. It's about finding your place in a world that can be both inspiring and unforgiving. And most importantly, it's about remembering why you started in the first place. What do you think? Is Mel right in calling out the industry, or is he just pushing the boundaries too far? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.